Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So we're going to talk about the Charlotte Hornets today because they are a very, very interesting basketball team and a team that I didn't watch a lot last season, but am definitely going to be watching more of this season, being that Miles Bridges is supposedly coming back. They have Mark Williams, they have LaMelo Ball, they now have Brandon Miller. Like, they're a team that's, like, maybe got something going on. Now, granted, they do have a lot of drama going on with the Miles Bridges situation, and Kai Jones, I'm almost positive is doing drugs. The man is literally drawing on his fucking walls with crayons and shit, and not talking English, apparently. Like, that's a new thing. So yeah, I don't know what the deal with Kai Jones is, but they need to figure that the fuck out. But I'm mainly making this video because I get to take a victory lap. For once, I get to take a victory lap in a video. And that's because I was right about Mark Williams. I wasn't right about Shaedon Sharpe, but I was right about Mark Williams. And the thing is, when the draft happened last year, I was like, listen, I don't understand why Portland is taking Shaedon Sharpe. I don't. Like, yes, he's going to be very good for them. And it worked out. But at the time, I was like, it's obvious, like, the fit that they need in order to, like they probably could have kept Damian Lillard. Like, I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, had they not drafted Shaedon Sharpe last year and just drafted Mark Williams or Jalen Duren when they should have, like, that would have freed up enough cap space for them. Like, instead of re-signing Jusuf Nurkic, they could have used that cap money to maybe sign somebody else or get something better around Damian Lillard, which they ultimately decided not to do. But it's just the idea, like, at the time, I was like, Mark Williams is a solid guy. And I remember I was saying, like, he's a guy that should go in the top 10. And people were like, for whatever reason, nobody liked that take. Everybody was like, Jalen Duren is so much better. Mark Williams is going to be bad. And I'm like, bro, like, if you watch the guy play, like, I'm getting Dwight Howard flashes. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a monster underneath the basket. He's a solid defensive player. The dude blocks shots like a fucking fly swatter. I'm like, nobody thinks he has Dwight Howard level potential if, like, he just comes into his own. Nobody believed it. Then, sure enough, this past season, okay, Mark Williams ended up being one of the best defensive rookies in the NBA. I mean, this dude was such a staple for the Hornets on defense that the Hornets, when Mark Williams was off the floor, teams shot 47% from the mid-range, right? With him off the floor. With him on the floor, they shot 39%. Now, granted, the under-the-rim percentages were not that different, but even from three, teams shot like 36, 37% from three with him off the floor. With him on the floor, they shot 33%. Okay? So, Mark Williams is not only a good on-ball defender, he's a good off-ball defender, he's a good weak-side defender. Like, this is a guy that, for whatever reason, everybody just wrote off immediately. And I'm actually excited to watch the Hornets this year because of that. Because I'm like, Mark Williams is going to be a guy that's going to get more minutes. Brandon Miller's probably going to average like 15 points a game. I'm just going to call it what it is. And LaMelo Ball is going to be LaMelo Ball. Now, I don't know if Miles Bridges is actually going to play this year. It seems like he's going to. It seems like he's going to get minutes. I really don't know what the ball distribution is going to look like. They brought back PJ Washington. Like, the Charlotte Hornets have something going forward. But if I were a betting man, I really feel like their future is going to consist of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams. And Mark Williams is just a guy he's going to be a defensive anchor. Like, I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, he is going to anchor that defense this year. And Mark Williams is also, like, I'm going to call it early. He's got Defensive Player of the Year potential in his future. Like, he is that good at playing defense that I'm like, yeah, you know what? When teams play against Charlotte, they gotta know where Mark Williams is now. And there's not a lot of guys you can get in the draft that make immediate impacts like that. You know what I'm saying? And with LaMelo Ball, LaMelo Ball is going to go out there and dish flashy passes and stuff like that. Like, I'm looking forward to Mark Williams catching lobs from LaMelo Ball, okay? Like, yes, the Hornets are not going to be a team that maybe wins a lot of games this year. They might even be arguably the worst team in the East, depending on how shit pans out and how the season plays out. But they're going to be a team that does not win a lot of games, but they are going to be fun to watch, okay? Especially when you consider they got Brandon Miller, who might be the rookie of the year. Like, Brandon Miller's is one of those guys that, like, I think is gonna, like, he was good in summer league, but he's a guy that I think teams, like, a lot of people are sleeping on. A lot of people are saying, like, oh, Victor Wembanyama is gonna be rookie of the year, Chet Holmgren's gonna be rookie of the year. Brandon Miller's one of those guys that I'm just like, yeah, you know what? In Charlotte, if they let him do his thing, like, they could be a really fun team to watch, and you could see guys like Brandon Miller end up in, rookie of the year conversations. So I'm actually kind of excited to watch that, but it's just the idea, like, also, like, the Charlotte Hornets, now that Michael Jordan no longer owns the team, it seems like they're finally, like, going in the right direction since Michael Jordan sold the team. I get that, like, even what we're looking at now from the Hornets is a result of Michael Jordan. I just think going forward, like, this team's going to be a lot better without Michael Jordan as the owner, and, not having Michael Jordan, like, overlook every single decision, and, it's just going to be nice to have ownership that allows, like, the GM to do his fucking job, whereas Michael Jordan wasn't doing that. So, I don't know, man. I think the Hornets are going to be a team that, like, they're probably not going to win a lot of games. They might win 28, 30 games, 32 at max. They're a team that's, like, they're doing the growing pains thing. Like, I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, I don't really necessarily think their team is bad. I actually, they are bad. It's just they're a very, very young team playing in an Eastern Conference that is not going to be easy to win a whole lot of games in, especially for what they've got. And, they've got all the drama going on with Miles Bridges and Kai Jones and stuff like that. LaMelo Ball's still relatively young. He's still raw. We don't really know what LaMelo Ball is going to become yet. Like we look at the Pacers and we know, like, Tyrese Halliburton is, like, a bona fide all-star. And we looked at guys like LaMelo Ball when he was drafted as, like, a future league MVP. And there's flashes of it, but we still have yet to see if that's actually going to come to fruition or not. Like, there's glimpses of it. But I really, really like the idea of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams going forward with this team. Even if they don't keep Miles Bridges, and even if they don't keep PJ Washington, like, they have enough young talent now where it's like they can pick and choose what they want. Like, even if Brandon Miller doesn't work out, if the Miles Bridges situation finally works itself out, even if your trio going forward is LaMelo Ball, Mark Williams, and Miles Bridges, that's still not the end of the world. That's still a very good trio. So I'm not quite sure how this season's gonna play out for them, like, entirely, because for all I know, all of them could hit the ground running and be a very, very good basketball team. But this is a team that's going to be fun to watch. I will say that. Like, they're probably not going to win a lot of games, but there's going to be growing pains. You're going to see things. It's like, okay, like, Brandon Miller's probably going to have, some bumps in the road in the beginning. Even LaMelo Ball, it's like he's been injured, so he might get off to maybe a slow start. But it's just the idea, like, this team's going to be fun to watch, and I'm actually excited for Charlotte Hornets fans because you finally got something to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this year's going to suck, but it's going to be fun to watch your guys grow. Like, as a Pacers fan, I understand that. Like, I understand what it's like to, like, yeah, you're not going to win a lot of games, but you get to see what the future is going to be like. That's what this season's going to be for you. You're not going to win a lot of games. You're not going to make the playoffs, but you're not even going to make the play-in, but you're going to be able to, like, see what is yet to come. You get to see what maybe the next 6, 7, 8 years will be at some point. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know what? That's my take on the Charlotte Hornets. Mark Williams is a guy to watch out for because I think he's a guy that's going to show some improvement this year. LaMelo Ball, I'll be looking to see if he improves. Hopefully Miles Bridges comes back, and hopefully Brandon Miller can just hit the ground running and be like a 15-point per game scorer for them. I don't know how true that I don't know how realistic that is because new rookies usually take some time to adapt, but it's just the idea, you never know. Okay, so tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Helps me out, subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report, and out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.